Wrestling.
Teas. Yeah.
So Rise Up has boosted teas.
You're live right now.
Protein
So you know.
shakes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay. All the way live, pal.
So whoever's phone that is, turn it on silent.
Just diving right in. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show.
Turn your fucking phone off.
So Rise Up, they have energy teas, which are boosted teas. The flavors are great, by the way. So if you're ever in Reading area, stop by them. Stop by the store, Penn Ave. Protein shakes. They have protein waffles and oatmeal. Great people too. As soon as you walk in, they greet you. Let's see, where is it? Here it is.
What?
Hey, everyone.
I have it. Oh, you should probably mute that.
Yeah, I'm sharing your post now.
Okay. Yeah, somebody share it. Somebody have it up.
Well, I have the card.
Okay. All right. Give it a little bit, let people join in.
Nah, just go.
All right.
When you hit live, it's go time, baby.
Yeah, we're live.
All right. So, first off, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
Bryan and Anthony from Tornado Tag Podcast. We've been saying we wanted you guys on here, so thank you for coming on, first and foremost.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you guys been growing and doing some cool stuff. We got to meet you guys officially at Hamburg, the Legends of Hamburg Fieldhouse Con, and then the show afterwards. You guys were super kind and generous, and you let me borrow Chris Van Fleet 1,400 times to pick his brain, which was super helpful for my mental psyche. So I'm glad to finally sit down with you and join you on your end of the show and on your show. Yeah, on your show. Yeah. I must have something else there, but I guess that'll be for later.
Yeah, no problem at all. It was awesome meeting you guys. You guys are also genuine people, and we appreciate whatever help you give us.
Yeah, well, that's how the wrestling community is. We help each other out if we can.
Yeah.
Chris is a great guy, by the way. I hope he helped you a lot.
Yeah. We still chat here and there. I kind of pick his brain on some stuff, and I'm excited. I'm actually going to see him again next week at PPW. So it'll be kind of hit up Chris Van Fleet twice in 1 year. That's kind of an insane thing.
Twice in like almost 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a genuine guy.
I told him leave room with the top, baby. I'm coming.
Yeah, when we meet him next week, that's when the heel turn happens. That's when we throw him through the barbershop window.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hit him with a chair.
You got to watch out. He might hit you at a rock bottom.
I'll shake his hand, pull him in.
Hey,
PPW is hilariously using a shirtless photo of him as his profile, as his
Wouldn't you?
Dude,
it's really fun. I thought it was very entertaining. It's like all the wrestlers with no shirts on, and then just shirtless Chris Van Fleet.
Maybe he's gonna be in a Take Your Shot Rumble. They're gonna have a 30-man Rumble. Maybe he's gonna be a mystery entrant.
I think you're onto something, Brian.
Honestly, though, like as soon as we met him, he was just one of the guys. It was great. I mean, and it's weird because as soon as I was picking him up from the airport, and I just glanced and I knew it was him because he just has that style and
that aura.
Yeah.
What airport did you pick him up at?
Allentown. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, he definitely stood out. He had all of his teeth.
Dude,
It is the home of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah. Went there with his sister cousin wife.
Yeah.
So we can go through some. You guys are gonna.
What got you guys started in podcasting? I know, Anthony, you've been doing this like for a while. Because I don't know if you remember, there was like this pinup ball in Pottstown or Pottsville.
Pottsville.
I actually met you there. You like my girlfriend. You were talking like the whole night to all the girls, getting I guess interviews with them. So I was
just hanging out networking. I didn't even.
Oh, really?
I wasn't. Yeah. So I interviewed Michael Michael Ban,
Oh,
who
yeah,
runs
yeah.
that magazine, and he invited me to the. We still in great contact. He's a good dude, but he's like, "Yo, come to the Retro Lovely Ball." So we were kind of hanging out there the whole time. He had like a pre-party the day before. So I went there and just got to meet everybody and just got to mingle and had a really good time. That night was dope because I got to meet a lot of talented people and really good talented models, as well as I met the brewery Liquid Noise there that night.
Yeah, Liquid Noise. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the owner who was there that night just recently passed away.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, but it was a good night. But yeah, I do apologize. I do forget that I met you there that night.
Oh, it's all right.
I had a lot of Landon loggers that night. But yeah, that was really fun.
When we met at Hamburg, you and I for the first time, Justin, he was like, he's a very cool guy, So I appreciate you talking to me about, podcasting and all that stuff. It was, for the first time meeting, it was awesome. So thank you for that.
No problem. I just try to always help people get to a spot early on in their podcasting, because my first year and a half, I did it with all really terrible equipment. And that's when I had, for me anyway, that's when I had most of my listeners, was the beginning. And then everyone tapered off because I feel like the quality wasn't great. And now my quality is good. Now I'm trying to fight to get all those people back. You know what I mean? Like, we're still doing really good now, but we were doing much better in the beginning because it was fresh and new. And then people was like, oh, he's just some random dude from School County doing a podcast and his quality's garbage. And now I'm way better quality, and I think I'm a better interviewer. So now I have to fight to get that audience back. So if I see a young podcast just starting off, it's like, hey, you got to nail down that quality. You got to nail down your flow. You got to nail down that stuff early. So you're not trying to fight back an audience that you may have lost by giving them a bad impression the first time.
Yeah. And honestly, the first year or so that we were doing this, our quality was terrible. One mic, like you noticed. And then, obviously with the stuff we have, it's still not the best, but it's definitely an improvement.
It's all growth, man. It's all growth.
Yeah. So as long as we can grow and not stay the same, but we definitely appreciate the help that you've given us so far, and I'd love to just hang out with you guys at a show, and take a group photo.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it the next Outbreak show. But back to your question here, you said how long you've been doing it. Well, I started in the podcast game about coming up on 3 years now, but Bryan here has been doing this for a very long time. Bryan, if you want to lead off here.
Yeah, I've been doing podcasts before they were called podcasts. They were called internet radio way back when, and on and off I would do things here and there. I think that I tried doing something around like 2001, something around there. Wow. It didn't last too long. I did a wrestling podcast around 2005. I did another one in 2008. And then I was kind of out of it for a little bit until I started doing a true crime podcast. It's called Murder My Dude. Look it up if you are into that type of thing. I
love true crime stuff. So yeah.
And some wrestling does sneak through, and
every episode,
every other thing. Yeah, we can't go an episode without a wrestling reference. But my co-host and I, we started doing that, and then I got connected with Tony here. We had the same quote unquote shoot job. We worked together. And he found out I did this podcast, and then he would listen to it. And like I said, there's wrestling talk on every single episode. So about 2 years ago, we decided to kind of join forces on Tornado Tag.
And I love it because Bryan has brought such a dynamic to our show that I cannot begin to say how much it inspired me to get better at what I do and research more and just get more knowledgeable about professional wrestling. He brings such a mind to our show that I don't think we had before. And then I just think the dynamic of us three on the show is fantastic. And he also meets what I need as a friend and as someone who I want to start a business with, essentially with a work ethic. I try to keep him away from that because I want to be like, Bryan, just relax, man. I got it. I'll do the work. You just chill, like just hang out. And Bryan, he's like, no, fuck that. If I'm here, I'm going to work. I'm going to pay for my dues as well. And I'm going to put the work in. And he volunteers himself into stuff that I wouldn't even do. So I love having him around. He's a huge team member of this, and he's part of the family, man. I love him to death. And his podcast is absolutely fantastic. It's super funny. He's just really good. But yeah, I started podcasting, like I said, 3 years ago before I met Bryan. And I was inspired just by listening to other podcasts when it came to like listening to people's stories. I like listening to interviews with celebrities, but I was more inspired by just actual stories of people. Like I love documentaries. I love hearing crazy stories or what people have gone through. I'm the guy in the bar who will go up to the drunkest person and hear their life story for 2 hours and leave the bar like, yo, did you hear about John's story? Like, yeah. And I was like, man, that's the kind of stuff I want to encapsulate and keep. But I don't want to do it with people drunk in a bar, because then the next day they're like, hey, could you take that down? I said some shit I didn't want to end there. So I had to find that balance. And I'm very, I love Howard Stern my whole life. I love talk radio. I was into, I didn't even really know about Rogan and stuff like that, even though that kind of like showed me the idea of podcast. But I was really into Kevin Smith. And one of Kevin Smith's biggest thing was when he made the movie Clerks, he sold everything he loved to pay for the equipment to make his first movie. And I did the same thing. I sold a bunch of old classic video games I was collecting, a bunch of old statues, pop culture stuff, the Funko Pops, comic books, all that crazy stuff. And I saved up a couple grand, and I got the first set of equipment you would see in the beginning of the show, and then just kind of kept building on from there. And yeah, we're going about 3 years now. We do a bunch of different shows. We have a network, which facilitates all those with the IWEP network. And yeah, it's been a good time. Speaking of
IWEP network, thank you guys for allowing us to join that network.
Yeah, so this is the announcement. You guys are officially members of the IWEP network. We got to throw a little thing around here somewhere to throw it up in there. But yeah,
I forgot the confetti.
Yeah, the newest members of the IWEP network will be the We Like Wrestling podcast, and I think you guys fit the bill to be on the network, because I want the perspective of things from everyday people. You know, I respect, like, I love Chris Van Fleet, but I when I see Chris, I see him as the guy who grew and now he's at that level I want to be. You know what I mean? And that's why he still has that bridge between celebrity and everyday person, and I love that. And that's kind of what my goal is, to eventually get there. But yeah, I like talking about things from a perspective that I think more people can relate to. But it's just tough to get that audience to support everyday people and not immediately go for the celebrity.
Yeah. So, I mean, we appreciate you giving us this opportunity to join that network with you. And, obviously we're going to be helping each other grow. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I reached out to you, and I've seen what you guys have done with that network. And, I don't want to join it just to benefit us. I want to help you guys out. We share your stuff as much as we can. So
yeah, we see that. That's why, because I have a lot of community pages that you guys are aware of, and you guys see the one I made where it's not even related to my podcast. It's just a community page to help other podcasters converse and meet and talk. I'm proud of it. I'm not really happy of the way it went so far, but it kind of went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. Even with our tornado tag one, like, I have the doors open to anyone to share their content, but I feel like a lot of my pages have become, we'll just say, cheap dates, where people come in, they dump their stuff and then get out. They don't really take much pride in us. It's more or less like, hey, I think if I dump my content in this page, every single member who's in that group is all of a sudden going to be my fan. And then 50 episodes later, you realize you still have one play per episode because you didn't build a community. You didn't join in. You didn't talk. You didn't make conversation. You didn't add to it. If you just think you're going to take your content and dump it everywhere and you're going to be this next famous thing, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not. And that's where building a community and working with people and making connections and going on social media and interacting with people and making those friendships. That's how you grow this. You don't just do it by dumping your content on someone's community page and think, now I'm going to steal their audience, because it doesn't work that way. But if you go in there and you're everyday posting and like, hey, what do you guys think of this, or how do you think of that, and then you build up those conversations, people are like, oh man, I really like that Jared guy. Oh, he has a podcast, let me check that out, I love his takes. And then they'll follow into your show.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, what's up? Glad you can join us, man.
I don't see any comments. Why is that? Oh, there they are. I see now. Okay, cool. Oh, there's some of my people. Dallas, Dallas he's a local rapper in my area. He's going to be on my podcast for interviews with everyday people soon. Michael is like a super fan. I see him at a bunch of shows. This is nice. Yeah. Ryan Vox, the superstar right there.
So what's your take on AEW? You want to go through the card a little and talk about it? Anything for tonight? Anybody excited for that Roman Reigns Balor match? Probably going to be a shit finish.
And then you got.
I hope it's good. I hope they go. Give them some time and actually have a good match. But I don't think that's what's going to happen.
You got Rampage tonight too.
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
Then,
so
and then there's Rampage, and then you have a special that's on right after Rampage. So
that's probably just the hype.
Yeah.
Here's my question. I mean, we're always hinting
Darby
at
Allin and I can't remember the other guy's name, but
Daniel Garcia, right?
Yeah.
So big fan of his.
With Fox and USA battling each other about getting upset that one's getting more than the other and all this other stuff, do we see possibly, how you're saying, a screwy finish? Do we see something in the form of a screwy finish or a return or a comeback of anybody, or hinting at anything on a SmackDown show coming up soon? Because I feel like Fox is upset that they don't have any big names making crazy debuts, or like AEW and other places are doing.
I think they are, but that's why they brought in Becky and Brock again.
And Cena was a big return for them.
But I'm saying they want that on their show on Fox, not on a pay-per-view.
Well, Fox is upset. Well, they're going to get Brock and Becky on their TV every week. That's what they want. Fox is upset because they didn't get Punk, and they're upset because they keep plugging these shows on Peacock, which is a rival streaming service.
NBC,
and then NBC is upset because all the stars are on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's happy.
How many times have we watched a pay-per-view and it just
every time Peacock messes up?
The network never had problems like that, and
And now the Miz is going to be going to ABC. He's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, apparently.
Oh wow! I didn't know.
Why?
He just hit his 15-year anniversary. The Miz.
Oh yeah,
15 years.
Hey,
I've always liked the Miz.
I have not always liked the Miz, but
when he first came in, I didn't.
Yeah,
we forget he's been there that long.
Yeah.
It's you don't really recognize it now because people just stick around for so long. Where I always think back to when I started watching wrestling and Rick Rude being in the WWF, and Rick Rude was only there for like 3 years. Rick Rude was not in WWF for a long time, but you can remember it so vividly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now, the Miz has been there. The Miz has been in WWE 5 times longer than Rick Rude was.
He was
crazy to think about, right?
And Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Wow. Steve Austin, as a wrestler, was only there for when he retired.
Yeah, very small run.
He was only there for 6 years. Yeah.
And so much has happened in that little time.
In those 6 years, I mean, he was off TV for a while with injuries.
Yeah, he was out a year for that neck injury. He was out a year when quote unquote took his ball and went home. Really, it was 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you count the first 6 months or a year, that was Ringmaster.
Yeah, but still,
Stone Cold. So
can we just talk about how much AEW is stepping up their game? Like, I know I say it a lot, but like WWE has been dropping the ball, especially with this new NXT now. But
maybe they're not dropping the ball though. Maybe they're trying to distinguish. Okay, this isn't the audience we want. They can go watch AEW. We want the kids. We want because, like I said before, if one kid in a household watches wrestling, most likely 2 parents are going to take that kid to a live show. So that's 3 tickets you sold.
Yeah. I don't know. I
think if you want to keep it in wrestling, if you want to keep it in analogies here, I think WWE is taking a knee. I don't think they're trying to win the game anymore. I think they feel like they've already won. They think they're up by 100 points and they can coast.
Yeah,
I think they're mistaken.
Yeah, too big to fail. Yeah, no, they can fail.
They think this is early WCW.
Yeah,
they weren't worried about them at all.
Yeah,
to the Monday Night Wars, and then shit got serious. But at the very beginning, they weren't worried about WCW.
But it still is. I mean, what we saw with the Instagram thing that they posted, AEW's Punk return saw, what was it, 1.7 million views in 24 hours, it was 0.7 million views in 24 hours. The Brock Lesnar return at SummerSlam saw 1.7 million views in 1 hour. So
the thing is, you're factoring that on just TV ratings, and those TV
no,
ratings.
this was I think they were comparing the Instagram
Social
accounts.
media.
And
okay.
WWE's social media presence is incredible. Because
they pay a lot of money for you to be in their algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
they outduel a lot of like professional sports leagues. It's always in that did you know?
Oh yeah.
But where I think they run the risk of running into trouble here is the narrative during the Monday Night War was that WWE was able to make themselves the babyface and they were able to make WCW the heel, and right now they're the heel in the public image, in the popular image. They are the heel in this.
And the smart fan, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who just watch SmackDown because it's on. Like SmackDown has over double the audience of Dynamite. Some people are just watching Fox, will just watch wrestling. They don't really care about CM Punk. They don't like AEW because there's a lot of small guys on there. There's so many different things. But really, it seems like that AEW really hitting on all 8 cylinders now makes you really, really recognize how stagnant WWE can be.
Yeah. And with the thing, I've seen a few things online that says that WWE might be going back to the old 80s style, like big hulking muscle guys mostly.
I mean, it is.
And
That's how you get over.
Look who the 2 champs are.
Yeah.
Lashley and Roman.
Yeah,
Big guys.
And honestly, how many times?
I like a mix. Like, I don't want guys that are 6'8", 300 pounds and nothing but muscle for every freaking match. I like a little change up. You know what I mean?
And how many times do you see the same match? Like it'll be on SmackDown 2 weeks in a row, and then it'll be at the pay-per-view, and then they need a rematch, and then so it's like the same stuff. But with AEW, at least there's a little bit of a break, and it's kind of like, I know WWE was heavy with talent, and they let a lot of them go, but it was either way, you still have the same people on, and it's the same stuff.
WWE has an aunt. When I went to my son's open house, he's in 5th grade, and his teacher's asking me, "What's your son into?" I said, "He likes wrestling." She said, "Oh, like WWE."
Yeah.
That's what everyone says. That's the name. No one says, "Oh, AEW." Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
So WWE is counting on that they're the name in wrestling.
It's brand recognition. When people think when they go to get fast food or they go get a burger, everyone says McDonald's. Some people say McDonald's even when they go to Burger King.
Yeah, it's like in the South they'll say Coke.
Compare a hamburger, it's always compared to McDonald's hamburger. Oh, well, this is pretty good. It's better than McDonald's.
Or when a new store opens up, what does everyone say? Oh, it's like a Walmart.
Yeah.
Same kind of store.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, like for WWE, like you're saying, like everybody would recognize that name. That's because they also have a lot of cross-brand stuff.
You got Batista that's in movies, and everybody knows. When they first started, WWE superstar or whatever, The Rock. And now people just know, but that sticks with you.
Besides that, they also will stamp that logo on anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even me.
Shirts.
Yeah, I mean, just like the WWF tattoo.
Anything they can put their logo on. AEW doesn't have that yet.
Yeah,
and everywhere.
And the fact of the matter is that it doesn't need to be one or the other. They can both survive. There's plenty of room for both of them. The only reason WCW went down when it did is because the company that owned them went through so many mergers and acquisitions, and the TV executive that got put in charge of TNT and TBS was like, I don't want wrestling on my station anymore. That Nitro was going down, but Nitro was still one of the higher rated shows on TNT when it got canceled. It was that they thought wrestling was low rent. They thought wrestling wasn't working, and they didn't want it on their channel anymore. And there's and if you want to go to the fast food analogy, WWE is McDonald's. Ryan Vox in the chat. WWE is Kleenex. They're Band-Aid. They're Q-Tip. They're the brand name. They are to. It's like when people say MMA, they think, oh, UFC. Like they'll think of UFC as all MMA. But yeah, WWE is McDonald's, and I would say that AEW is like something like Five Guys.
The difference where I think where maybe what brand recognition will change things is I think when people think, like, we'll go to the UFC analogy, like I watch UFC because I feel like they're the best people in the world that are there. So the competition, you're fighting the best of the world. And I think that's where people are like, they don't take Bellator seriously because it's like, oh, you're a champion of Bellator, go win the title at UFC and let's see how good you are. And you would take a guy who was 2 wins in UFC, he'll go to Bellator and he's a world champ. So it's kind of like that balance is like, you're definitely the college league and we're the pro league.
And it's also people set in their ways, like just people like, that's what they think. They think WWE is wrestling. Like more of your diehards. People like us are going to prefer AEW. It's a show that's kind of catering to us.
Absolutely. We're also huge fans of the independent scene, and AEW is an independent show turned to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AEW now is right. It's what ROH strived to be in the beginning, with actual money behind it. If ROH had that money back in 2003, 4, 5, that we'd be talking about ROH right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like AEW, they know that what the fans want. Now, sometimes, much like with the death match, it's a little disappointing, but they've addressed that issue.
Well,
but
like I've said in one of our previous episodes, I kind of give them a pass because this their first time out the gate. You know what I mean? Like things are going to go wrong. You know,
Some growing pains. Yeah.
and
It's
like
getting better.
Ryan Vox just said, WWE can be Walmart. People love it, but he prefers Target. I prefer Target. It might cost a little more, but it's better quality.
But that's us. The
Yeah.
casual, like you guys said, I just watch it because there's nothing else on a Friday night, or I've been watching it since I was a kid. The casual fan is WWE. They may not know every character, but that's what it is.
and the Walmart
those
analogy,
casual-
everybody knows Walmart.
Those casual fans, those young fans are going to also see, oh, cool. I was a huge fan of X name. Now X name is on a different show. That's where it's getting interesting because we're getting that cross contamination. And then you say, oh, wait, my favorite star is also going to show up on this show, other show, and this other show. And it's like, wait, there's more wrestling outside of here than. So that's literally what AEW is trying to do when they're working with New Japan. They're working with an Impact. They're working with all these different people. It's showing these fans that there is another side. So if WWE keeps deciding that their thought is, oh, they want all of our talent, we'll give them all their talent. We'll fire everybody. You're not going to build a show on 3 names. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and TNA did a similar thing. I mean, what got me into TNA was I saw names like Booker T, Kurt Angle, Sting, and I was like, oh, that's different.
I know those people.
Yeah. So AEW started that with Jericho, Moxley.
That's why I said Jericho had to be your first champ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like Hangman Page, but if you're flipping through the channels and you see Hangman Page, you don't know who that is. You're probably going to keep flipping. But Jericho, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I might watch this a little bit. That's what AEW had to do in the beginning.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen that they're growing. They're still signing some ex-WWE guys, but a lot of them are, like Justin said before, you don't need Big Show, you don't need Mark Henry. But a lot of it are guys that weren't happy. Weren't
Those are the guys I like to see.
Yeah.
But here's where a guy like a Big Show and a Mark Henry pay dividends, right? So, like, say, for example, we'll use Outbreak as an example, where someone thinks a guy like maybe Cortez is this, oh, he was a mid-card guy or he was this at Lucha Underground, but he was there for how many years? He learned a lot. He got to experience locker rooms. He got to rub elbows with a guy like a Morrison and rub elbows with guys like Luchasaurus and all these big names that end up coming out of there. Now you bring a guy like a Big Show. You have to think about this. Big Show is a big man. He's the big man of a company. He's probably been in more like stylistic, fun, interesting style matches than anyone in the business. I don't think anyone has been in more cage matches than that guy, or all these different styles. Mark Henry is the same way, where he was an outsider who came into the pro wrestling business, and now you have him not even as a star on TV, but now he's backstage. He's helping your guys who are coming from an indie show now hitting a TV thing and saying, "Here, kid, here's how you work TV. This is where we're going to take what you're great on in the indie scene. We're going to make you a TV appearance now." So yes, to WWE, they're valueless because they're not going to be on TV. Now they go to an AEW and they're great backstage hands. They're great people to have in your locker room. That's why a lot of indie shows, like you see guys like, and I'm not trying to put him over because he's our boy, but like an Andy Header. Andy Header at Outbreak is treated like he's a top class world champion, as he should be. And then some other companies he might not be, but every other company is like, "Hey Andy, can you help orchestrate this match? Can you help us put together this? Can you we're gonna put you with a guy who's green because we know you can get a good match out of him and make this guy better. Hey Andy, can you help? We're gonna bring a name in. Can you work the name? You have no title on you, but can you help work the name because we know you'll work safe? That's where these names are coming out of WWE and going to an AEW. And people are like, oh, they're big jokes now, but no, they're building young talent and making them so much better.
Some of these guys haven't been on TV before, or they wrestled in front of 10 people.
Yeah.
Now they're wrestling in front of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Henry and Big Show can help with that.
And there's a lot of guys that are getting over that I didn't know before. I did not know Darby Allin at all. I knew of MJF. I knew of Sammy Guevara. So some of those I knew. Max Caster. Never, ever heard of him. Don't know where he was. And now
I never heard
that was one of my favorite.
Yeah, and now you go watch his stuff on Beyond or all these great things on IWTV. And you go Orange Cassidy. You're like, man, where was this guy from? Then you go check out a promotion that's no longer around, like a Chikara, and then that.
Right. That was my first stuff that I saw of his.
By the way, how was meeting Orange Cassidy? Because you guys got to meet him.
I mean, I didn't really get to pick his ear as much as I wanted to be because I was halfway dying at IWTV 100. It was so hot. I was dehydrated. I was puking. I was having a real tough go that night. But because it was a long day. But he was super cool. I was like, hey man, do you mind if I just take a picture? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, can you mind we do it in the locker room? Because I don't want 100 people to see it happening. And then I have to. And even though he said that, he took a picture of me. We talked for a moment. And then he went outside and 100 people were like, can we get a photo? And he made sure everyone got an opportunity to meet him and talk to him.
I can't speak to it. I talked to him for 2 seconds and did a fist bump.
Yeah.
I try. My philosophy with shows is I try to do that. Act like you've been there before. And with IWTV 100, I was actually working on the production side of the show. So I was kind of segregated from the locker room. Off in a corner, hitting music for people and ringing the bell. So
Bryan 100% worked that show. I 100% sat in the car and threw up for the entire length of it. I was dehydrated as hell. It was a hot building.
Shout out to one of the wrestlers though. She wasn't on that show. She did commentary for Leapfrog before, but Kaya McKenna, if you're familiar with Camp Leapfrog, she's done Beyond Wrestling. The part of the building we're in this little room on the side where
it was blowing heat into it.
It was blowing heat into it, and you're away from everybody else. And she was super cool and actually hung out with us for most of the show.
Kaya is a sweetheart. I love her to death, and I think everyone should look her up and support her and watch her grow because she's a talent.
Yeah. And speaking about AEW and their partnerships, like with New Japan and stuff, I think that's genius because you can exchange talent, expose your talent from AEW to New Japan to AEW. I mean,
WWE always looks at other people as competition.
Well, even their own, like NXT.
Yeah, and AEW. I mean, when AEW started, they said, "Hey, we're not looking to make it a competition." They kind of did a little bit, but them working with Impact and New Japan, that proves that they're not trying to beat everybody. Like, obviously, everybody wants to be WWE, but the fact that they've quote unquote opened the forbidden door, it's great for wrestling, and it just shows that Tony Khan is a wrestling fan.
Well, he was a fan as a kid. He said there's stories of him going to ECW as a kid. So I mean,
his senior trip, where most kids, especially kids whose dads are billionaires, or at that point maybe multimillionaires, they would be going to Cancun or wherever for their senior trip, and Tony Khan went to Swanson and Rittner in South Philly for ECW.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a kid of a billionaire is chilling in that arena where?
Oh my God!
Especially that arena then. The arena.
You could have bought that arena 100 times over.
Right? Can I pay for some air conditioning in here or something?
It goes to show you. It goes to show you. You have no idea who's ever in a crowd.
Yeah, this is true.
AEW
or whoever's listening or anything like that.
All the podcasts are working together so we can be where Chris Van Vliet is. So AEW and all those other organizations want to be WWE, which is a Chris Van Vliet. Let's all work together to get to that level instead of trying to fight each other. Whereas WWE looks like we don't need anybody. We are the top.
And let's not disparage or say or get it wrong. Chris Van Fleet's definitely not a WWE.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not
Yeah,
also
let's not
trying
do
to
that.
work with people and talk to people.
Yeah,
He's
No, I'm not saying anything bad about the guy. He's a great guy.
Not at
we're
all.
just we're putting him on a pedestal that we're trying to also reach.
By
Yes,
the way, if
yeah.
there's any children of billionaires listening now, hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Support your
us
local
Have
podcast.
some money, please.
IWP Network, throw us some bones. We got hats for sale.
I got everything for
So-
sale.
Yeah.
I'll dump these
AEW.
turkeys tomorrow.
You guys are gonna be together watching it. I mean, at least I've seen Anthony trying to get a bunch of people together. What are you excited for about All Out?
I think the card in general is just fantastic. We also this is going to sound like another weird shameless plug, and I'm not really trying to do that, but I kind of am. But we also do a thing called Pro Wrestling Scorecards, and it's you can do it digitally on your phone at digital.pro wrestling scorecards, or you can do it on a you can print them out at home, and then if you have a party of people, pass them all out and they can write their stuff down. But it's really, and they don't sponsor us, they don't give us money. I actually pay them. I pay for a Patreon for them because I think what they do is fun. But they have every pay-per-view we have an open challenge to anyone who's listening from your audience, or we invited you guys to it as well, but we do a scorecard where you pick your winners, and it kind of like, so we'll give a little example here. We'll say like the Paul White versus QT Marshall. It says winner, fall type, match over 5 minutes, fight before after match, or choke slams over or under 1.5, and you fill that information out.
Marshall, who's gonna win that one? I wonder.
Yeah, QT all day. But it's just these fun pick'em cards, and then at this website, if you do the digital, they calculate all the details, the stats, everything, and at the very end, they're like, "You're the champion of that promotion now." So then the next pay-per-view, if you're part of our faction, which we are one of the only public factions on there, which is really cool to say. There's like one other podcast besides it's like two podcasts, and then the one other the people who run it, and we're trying to build our faction members up. So get in there and really support. But but it's fun. And then we can find out who the champion is. And once we grow that to a certain level, we're going to do some cool giveaways. Like, oh, you won, here's a free t-shirt or something. But it's really, really fun. And it makes pay-per-views a lot better to watch, even if they're not the greatest pay-per-views to watch.
It's like fantasy football, where that makes it watchable
Yeah.
for me, because if not, I'm not watching pro sports.
You gotta send that link to me again.
Yeah, we all kind of do that with each other as is.
Yeah, it's digital.pro-wrestling scorecards. You can do it right from your phone and sign up. And then when you're in there, it's just you can just be like, go to factions, see Tornado Tag Podcast, join us, and then it automatically puts you in the running with all of us, and you just fill your cards out. They do have a beta open right now for people who are Android users. It's not Apple yet, but Android. And you can sign up and try out their new app that they're rolling out that will eventually go to everything soon.
Oh, cool. I have
Oh,
Android.
nice. So do I.
I guess I'm out.
So AEW All Out. What's the card look like?
Well, the first is the women's casino battle royal.
And
Well, that's on the main show now.
Yes.
Yeah, I got bumped
Oh
out.
yeah.
The
So
buy-in
there's-
match is now. I'm going to see if I can do this off memory. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
the,
fine.
buy-in,
Go.
the buy-in match is going to be a 10-man tag. It's the Jurassic Express and
Best
the
Friends.
Best Friends, Yuta,
Cassidy.
Cassidy, and Taylor against Matt Hardy, TH2, and Private Party.
Oh.
yeah, that doesn't
Nah.
make
Yeah.
It's free. It's free.
That
Yeah,
feud is
exactly.
going on
So
way
if
too
we
long.
get it on in time and there's no problems, then cool, I'll watch it.
I just want to say this real quick. I know it's a lot of right, but like
It'll be fun,
the
man.
Jungle Boy's
Jungle
dope,
Boy is
right?
huge.
I love all the
Best
wrestlers in it.
Friends.
Don't like 10-man tags. I think they're gonna go like.
Oh, it's gonna be a
everybody's
spot
just
fest.
yeah, exactly. I
Everyone's
don't like
gotta
that.
get their shit
I like
in.
story. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a spot fest indie match. But I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be fun to watch.
I'm not a huge fan of Private Party, to be honest.
oh no,
No, I like him better when they were the Street Profits.
I like Private Party because I know where they come from, and I became friends with a ton of talent who came out of that place. And I have a lot of. I've never met Private Party, but where they come from, I have high love and high respect for, and that's House of Glory.
It's just I feel like they're trying to be the Young Bucks, but the way they do things is just slow motion. I don't know.
They're you have to realize too, they just came out of a training school that
Yeah.
yeah, I like them.
Yeah,
I like that guy. that's
they got catapulted to a level that maybe a lot of people wouldn't get catapulted to at such an early spot in their career. but their charisma or something is the reason we're there. And trust me, I'm going to be honest, and this is not a shot at Private Party, but I can probably name you 2 or 3 more tag teams that I can make out of that school that I think are better and more entertaining than Private Party. So that's a testament to the Private Party that they're even the ones there and not the ones other people out of their school, because that school has some amazing people.
One of those teams should be the next AW Tag Team Champions, and that's Santana and Ortiz.
Yes,
they're for their House of Glory as well.
Yeah. Well, for Private Party, like, unfortunately, they didn't have Darker Revelation. I think it is that their online stuff. If they would have had that at the time, I think that's where they would have been at, just until they got a little more polished. But unfortunately, they just got shot right to their main show.
And Ryan Vox made a great point. They were Private Party before the Street Profits were even existing.
Like I said, I like them. I don't see anything wrong with their style. I like them. It's just that match. Like I said, nothing against who's in it. That match it's going to be what he said. It's going to be a spot fest, and that's great for what it is. Just not for me.
Like I said, every indie show has a spot where you're like, man, we want to get at least 10 people on it. Let them shine in front of an audience. Throw them in a 10-man. Let them go have some fun. And but we have there's no expectation to it.
Yeah, there's just like something they kind of. It was something they threw together because the match got canceled, so I had to put something.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I think Orange Cassidy and win. That's my prediction.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But here's the thing too. Every single, and just from knowing people, just seeing people like Yuta who watch them work a match or call a match before they go out there. Orange Cassidy calling a match before you go out there. We got to see the IWTV. They don't see that as a throwaway. You know what I mean? That's not a spot where they're like, let's just go through the motions and get it done. They see it as, let's show them that they shouldn't have put us on the pre-show. And that's the mentality of every single person on that match. And I think it's going to be a lot more exciting than people give it credit for.
And I can't impress enough that I gained so much respect for Wheeler Yuta at that IWTV 100 show. I cannot tell you how hot that building was. Like, all of us on this show were at the Hamburg Fieldhouse or Legends of Hamburg. It was hotter than that.
Wow.
It made Hamburg feel like Hamburg was air conditioned.
Yeah.
and
I'm not joking that I sat in the car almost dying of heat exhaustion. Like I have a thing where I don't sweat. I was literally vomiting because my body does not cool itself down. It was that hot in that building.
Fun.
Yeah.
And Yuta in that building, Yuta and Daniel Garcia went out there and they went an hour.
Wow.
A lot of respect for them.
Yes.
Well, and I look at like the buy-in and even WWE's pre-stuff as, it's not a throwaway thing, because I'm going to do we want to give you a thing to make you buy that pay-per-view. If you really like this, imagine what the pay-per-view is going to be like.
Now,
so, you know what I mean? Like,
now WWE treats that match as a throwaway. We don't care. AEW says you're here. But we're still going to give you the creative freedom to go out here. So pretty much AEW is treated, once again, like a really good indie show where, so let's say, for example, Ryan Vox is part of an indie company, right? He says, hey, Andy, Ian, here's your match. Here's who's going over. Get me to this point, and gives them creative freedom to do what they got to do. And I think that makes for more entertaining matches. But we've seen it at Sanctuary 100 times where when you hear someone going over in a match and you're like, how we throw a little comedy in here and we do this fun spot, or we have this, or this, and then you see it finally executed in a ring and you're like, what the, you heard them say they're going to do it, then they do it and you're fucking blown away by it. And I thought that's why I think makes AEW for me so much more enjoyable to watch, because they give you that freedom to go have fun.
Yeah. Well, and with WWE, like, yes, it's true. Like I guess pre-show match usually is like a throwaway, but I have seen somewhere the guys have gone out there and said, okay, well, we'll show you why this match should have been on the main card.
What was the 205 years ago? Was it Seth and Mustafa?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one when Buddy Murphy and Dream went out there and killed each other.
Yeah. That was
Well, I think WWE back in pay-per-views used to do better pre-shows. Now that it's on the network, now they know you're getting all the shit
you're leading
free.
To like heat, because something would happen that made you need to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and you had to technically buy it. Now, since it's all one big show, you're basically getting it for $10.
Not everybody.
But if you go off the script at WWE and you go in for business for yourself to try to put your match over harder, you get punished for that. so even the matches you think were like, oh, they went out there and proved that this is why they shouldn't have been over. Like, well, trust me, that was by design. Everything in WWE is down to a T of what you can and can't do.
Yeah, if you're giving 10 minutes, you go 15, you're getting it.
Well, not even that. You get 10 minutes and you go 10 minutes and you do 10 minutes of really, really exciting, flippy dippy, crazy stuff. You're never going to get that opportunity again because you just outshined the rest of the card. Like that's how they see each thing at WWE.
One match I always think of with that, and it was a pre-show match too. It was so many years ago. They did the WeLC match.
Oh yeah.
Hornswoggle and El Torito, the two minis, and they went out there and they went all out for it. They were taking crazy bumps. It was when you had 3MB and they were taking crazy bumps. Los Matadores were taking crazy. They went all out for this match. And then, like a week later, Hornswoggle got fired. El Torito got fired. The Matadors got repackaged. Drew got fired. Jinder got fired.
Yep. Don't go outside their what they built in that company. And that's why I lean to an AEW, because they're said, okay, the floor is yours. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's almost like with WWE. It's like you're just a body. We're going to tell you what to do with your body. We're just paying you for your physique.
Yep.
So go do what we tell you to do, and don't worry about the creative. Don't worry about telling a story. We're going to tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
And instead, here you have AEW as guys who know how to tell stories in the ring and know how to, get that crowd, build that crowd, dip that crowd, know what to really pop. You don't get that there.
In WWE, you're a number.
Yeah.
You're an employee. Do what you're told.
I wish they were employees. That would be better.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the difference between somebody that handcrafts a chair and then IKEA furniture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
absolutely.
So we also have we talked about it earlier is Paul White and QT Marshall.
Well, we skipped. We didn't really go into the battle royal.
We didn't really talk about the battle royal. That's right. Yeah.
I have 3. I mean, here, maybe I wish I should be a promoter. This is why a company should hire me as your promoter, Ryan Vox. I'm looking at you, buddy. Wink, wink. But
I hear it all the time on here. This is what I do.
You have a battle royale, right? A women's battle royal, right? And you have the possibility, and this is not even promoter for them. This is just me as a scumbag who just sits on a podcast and tells you why you should watch this show. But you have contracts up, and you have contracts 90 days who are up before this happens. So you have the opportunity to see the new inspiration, or how we would know them. The Iconics can show up anywhere now. You have Ruby Soho or Ruby Riott, who can show up anywhere right now. You have Mercedes Martinez, who can show up anywhere right now. And that's just and the way this whole thing is designed to go is this is, and once again, you have a Tessa Blanchard who can still show up anywhere right now.
She's not on any contract, right? She's nowhere.
She's nowhere. So this women's battle royal can be very, very interesting to see who shows up. And on top of that, now you have people like a Thunder Rosa, who's officially AEW. You have Nyla and Jade, who are looking for opportunities. You have Penelope, who's shooting up the ranks. This is a really good opportunity to find out who my role model DMD's next opponent's going to be. This battle royal has a lot of implications, and it's going to be a really fun time to watch. And we might get some fun surprises out of it.
The only thing with the surprises is there's I'm looking at the scorecard thing. They've announced 20 of the 21 people already. That doesn't mean that somebody can't get beaten up in the back and somebody takes their spot, but they have 20 of the 21 people already announced.
Yeah, so I'll let me go through them quick. So you have Nyla, Bunny, Thunder Rosa, Big Swole, Julia Hart, Dynamite, Red Velvet, Sheeta, Penelope Ford, Emma Sakura, Taya Conti, Jade Cargill, Abandon, Carol Hogan, Leah Hirsch, Kylan King, Rebel, Jamie Hayter. So Rebel being a Rebel or Rebel being in it, that's a whole spot too where she can just try to hide and win so she doesn't do that. So Britt Baker gets an easy pass.
She is such an underrated part of Britt Baker.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's incredible.
Riho, and then the unannounced talent. So we pretty much know everyone who's going to be in it besides the hidden talent. So it's going to be really fun. I'm excited for it.
21 might be Anna Jay, who came back Wednesday.
There's still an unannounced talent. It's going to be the Joker.
It's going to be the Joker, which can be my pick. Would probably be either Mercedes Martinez or Ruby.
I would hope Ruby.
I would hope they're going to bring in somebody, but I mean I wouldn't be surprised if it's Anna Jay too, who just came back too.
She's one of the 20 that's already been announced.
Oh,
Anna Jay's in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you say her name. That's why.
Brandy had the baby.
Not yet.
Oh no.
That's a huge.
No, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brandy,
maybe,
yeah.
but I don't think she's coming back that quick.
All right,
Oh.
here's my thing. I'm not shitting on Brandy, but if Brandy's at number 21, that's a boo. That's a thumbs down.
I have a feeling-
100%.
I have a feeling people will kind of be disappointed if it's not Ruby.
Yeah.
I will be, but
If
I'm
it's not
surprised.
Ruby and it's the only other person that I feel that would get a huge pop, that'd be like, because everyone's expecting Ruby, is Tessa. If Tessa comes out and it's not Ruby,
yeah.
then you're like, what the fuck?
I don't know if
Yeah.
Tessa.
Well, I know. I think Tessa hadn't done anything because she had supposedly said some stuff or something.
She
Yes,
got-
that
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
she's
while.
definitely in the
Holy
canceled train. She's in the
Yeah.
canceled
And-
train, but she's training to
and-
come back.
And AEW has kind of tried to put themselves out there as like the woke company. So I think Tessa might be more likely to show up in like an NXT than an AEW.
Would Tessa have a way in with her dad? I mean, would she?
I don't think Tully has so much sway. It's up to Tony Khan. It's up to like he's.
Well,
up
I'm
to
not saying
the
Tully can. Like,
allegations.
I mean, Tully can snap his fingers and make it happen, but she calls her dad. Maybe he can.
Oh, that's a good
Have the
call.
whole time wrestling. You know what I mean? That's
Here's a name that could be there. The whole Forbidden Door thing. Maybe Mickey James. Maybe Mickey James was 21.
That'd be a pop for me. Mickey James.
anime power. Right?
And
what's her-
she's
what's-
working
who's
with
the-
Impact too. So
I mean, we've already seen Serena Deeb a bunch of times, so that wouldn't be a huge pop. But what if we get Camila?
Camille.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That's
Or,
interesting
uh,
also.
Deanna Purrazzo. the
Well, she's been
Impact
on AEW a few times.
Yeah, has she? She's.
I thought
Impact
she's. I
worker.
thought she. No, that's Deeb. I'm thinking Deeb.
Yeah.
Where
No,
she wrestled.
you can throw out a million names. It's probably going to be Ruby.
Yeah,
Well,
but I'm saying
we're talking about girls. Let's all take a minute to say
I don't even want to talk about it.
yeah,
man.
about
That's just
Daphne.
sad.
We should.
Yeah, I mean, they
Nice.
mentioned it on Tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Lisa, rest in peace, Daphne.
Well, listen, yeah. If you have a drink, put it up for
Yeah.
Daphne. And the biggest thing here to take away from that is if you are someone. Listen, I talked about it openly on Miranda Friends. This is something I struggled with for a long time with suicidal ideology, and it's not a joke. And the reason I'm probably still here is because I've made it a point to put myself around people that I care about and that care about me. Reach out to people, talk.
Yeah.
It's once you talk about you're struggling through this, it's a weight off your shoulder. You know what I mean? And I know that those dark times come where you feel like you're not accepted and you're not loved and you shouldn't be around. But I'm telling you, people do give a shit about you and reach out and make those connections. And your life is worth being here.
100%.
We don't want to lose any more people.
No.
I heard that. Is that officially what it was?
Yeah.
Was she getting bullied like that other girl?
No,
Kimura girl?
No, she's just
no.
No, she had CTE from all the concussions and stuff.
It's all speculation, but
Yeah,
at the
that-
end of the day, it was still a suicide. And just talk to people. And I mean, even suicide's kind of not been put out there, but it's kind of implied because she was
Yeah,
live on the internet talking about it.
and
but
I
it's-
saw Foley posted about being worried.
Yeah. What did
I
she
actually
put
followed her on
social
Twitter
media?
and stuff. And
I think it was an Instagram live.
Yeah, I followed her on both, I believe.
So
I didn't see that.
back to the battle royal. I feel bad because, like you said before, if it's not Ruby, it's gonna be a boo.
Well, not necessarily.
Everybody's expecting Ruby.
I think the problem is with all these like Christian and Punk, you are what they call you are training your audience to expect big things. So if it's not anybody at that level, they're going to be upset. Or if nobody shows up, they're going to be upset because you've conditioned your audience to expect that now.
I mean, yeah. So when they announce a battle royal of some sort, we all assume there's going to be a surprise entrant.
It's usually always your Joker entry because
Yeah.
they usually announce everybody
Yeah,
else.
there's
That was Lizzie and Rush last time. We're all like,
So there's nothing wrong with
No.
expecting a surprise entrant. I mean, they've had surprise entrants before where they didn't sign them; it was just a one-off.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was
Well,
cool
yeah,
to see
yeah.
'em, you know?
Almost all of their Jokers have been that. Mercedes showed
Yeah.
up; she wasn't signed. Leo Rush did
Yeah,
it;
Leo Rush
he wasn't
Brian,
signed.
Brian Cage, had stayed.
Brian
Cage
Cage wasn't the
and,
he was
Seidel.
because he was the ladder.
The ladder
cross.
match.
The tip or whatever. Yeah.
Matt Seidel, he signed.
Oh yes,
but,
I know. Well, that was.
Yeah, I mean the slip. But
Yeah.
Fucking if Michael Kazaka didn't go out
Yeah,
there
I
and
mean,
put that
yeah,
baby
well-
oil on that fucking.
Yeah.
we all want to do a prediction for who's going to show up. We all saying Ruby.
I say Ruby. I want.
I want Ruby. I like Ruby.
Dude, as soon as Ruby shows up and that T-shirt goes on sale, fucking in cart ordered. It's coming.
Especially because it's going to be definitely like something Rancid related, right? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Vox made a great point in the chat, and this is why I love this guy. He said Punks is great friends with Rancid, so Ruby coming out is obvious because her music is a Rancid song inspired.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a good song.
So the rights is not going to be hard to get if you have the right connections.
Not at all. I want to see him play live then.
They got the money. That's it.
I think Ruby shows up and she wins. I'll take that.
Either she wins or Io wins and they start feuding off of it.
I think Io had her time. I think this winner is your next competitor for Britt Baker, win or lose, and then
it's for a title.
Oh, no love for no Stratlander love, man.
She's wrestling.
Well, Statlander's going for the title that night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're automatically assuming that
Britt's going to keep it.
I love Chris Statlander, but she's not beating Britt Baker yet.
Baker's only had like 2 months or so. I think she's got that.
I'm holding out hope. She doesn't need a belt.
Listen, I won't be upset if Chris Statlander walks out as champion, even where I'm wearing my DMD shirt. I love me some Chris Statlander. I got booped. This nose has been booped by Chris Statlander. But I just think Ruby. I mean, I think Britt Baker has just shown leaps and bounds that she has what it takes to be a world champion right now, and I think the person who takes it off her isn't even Ruby. I think it's got to be Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, down the line, Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa right now is in your Hangman Page category, where it's only a matter of time before he's your world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is on the card?
So
give me 1 second, guys.
No problem. So while he's away, Bryan, we asked, obviously about your career. So is there something that you wish you could do or could have done that you regret now, or leading into this career?
Not necessarily. Like I'm doing a lot of things I never thought I would do. Like kind of now with helping out with production on wrestling shows. Like I never thought that was going to be in the cards. I never thought that I would be doing commentary for things or music for things, or like just that IWTV 100 hitting the music for Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. Was like, wow, that was something. I did that, and no, it's fun. Like it's something that I don't see it as a career. Like I see it as like this is something that's just something I always thought I was going to do that never thought I was going to get a chance to do, and it just kind of fell into my lap. So just take it for what it is and enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
It's awesome that small things like that.
I would think if anything, maybe like you said when you first started out, maybe if you had better equipment, like when you first started. That's about maybe the only thing you probably regret. Like, I wish I would have had better equipment when I first started.
I wish I would have stuck with it when I started it earlier. I had a lot of things where I did we didn't get 50 million listeners in the first 6 episodes, so I quit. And sticking with it, and now I just do it for the love of the game. Like I like doing it, and I like getting the time in behind the mic. So it's all a good place now.
Yeah. So we started this because when we would go to wrestling shows, we would just always make like custom tournaments and just do them on the ride there, or every time we would just shoot the shit about wrestling or just shoot the shit in general. So we were like, you know what? We did an episode about wrestling on my old podcast, and then after that, it was like, let's do this. Let's do a podcast about wrestling. And then it was just
because nobody's doing that.
Yeah. But like our goal is just to get people in here and just to have fun. It's like we're sitting at a bar just talking. That's our main goal. So back to AEW. What
Paul White and QT Marshall, which we already kind of talked about earlier.
If that match goes more than 2 minutes, it's a shame.
It should be. I mean, it's going to.
That's got to be a squash.
I think QT's going to get it.
Really?
Yeah. He's got his group of guys to help him.
Huh.
So it's going to be a screwy finish, and QT's going to get the win.
I say it's Paul White all the way.
Knockout punch, choke slam, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it should be a squash.
Man, thank you, man.
It's a squash, but I don't know.
So, and I'm pretty sure we're all happy that Cody stepped away. Not happy, but he didn't need to be on every week, and so at least he's taking a break for a little bit, giving these other guys a chance. And
this better be all we see of Paul White. He better not be on every week either.
No, he just
Honestly, I kind of want to see some Paul White matches in AEW.
Brian
Here's the
Cage.
thing, man. That dude went and fucking got in the best shape of his life, went and got hip surgery so he can get better, went through 3 staph infections during that hip replacement. The dude had 6-pack abs before he went and got his
he's
hip
looking
replaced.
really good. Yeah.
He's ready to go and he could put work in. And there's some talented people there. And the big thing is he's a big guy who wants to work smaller guys. He loves working smaller guys because they can sell better and he can do cooler stuff with them. He's already said on one of my favorite podcasts, Renee Paquette's podcast, Oral Sessions, Darby Allin's on his radar.
Isn't he
It's
on everybody?
insane to me that every single guy who has come into this company has all named Darby Allin by name. Darby Allin has gotten Sting. He's gotten CM Punk. He's gotten guys like Big Show saying, I want to work with him. I'm excited for Paul. I don't think I just want to see him behind the curtain or behind a commentary. I think there's some big matches you can get out of him. We might get the Paul White Shaquille O'Neal match we never got. Maybe. The guy is in great shape. The work schedule's a lot lighter. He can go.
I always agree. Jim Ross had said this, that he always thought Paul White, when they brought him in, should have been a special attraction.
Yes.
Not every week getting exposed.
Absolutely.
Let him be like Taker. Let him just do the big pay-per-views.
And that's what AEW should do.
But, yeah, if they do that, that's fine, but not every week.
Yeah.
5 matches a year. That's all you need from him.
We were at Pilgrim. We were at Pilgrim, Tony Deppin's brewery, Thursday before our podcast, and they had one TV playing WCW, one TV playing WWE, and Paul White wrestled on it. And dude, he was a good-looking dude back in the day with the long hair. He was a stud.
He was doing drop kicks. I think did he do like
an elbow off the top?
Yeah, elbow off the top. Yeah.
Did he do
very athletic?
Sort of a choke slam, not off the top, but would you stand on like the second rope or something and choke slam a guy off?
I'm just saying, don't count Paul out. I think he's more than what we thought more than he thought he was at the end of his WWE run. And the reason he left is because he felt like he had more to offer. And I think if WWE gives him the opportunity to do so, I think it's going to be really exciting.
What's next on that?
Moxley and somebody want to help me with the name.
Satoshi Kojima.
Thank you. I had a feeling you would get it right.
I don't know who that is. I never heard of him.
I don't know. You want to give us anything on him?
Brian, run us through this guy.
Satoshi Kojima is a not one of the bigger stars now in Japan, but he is a guy who's kind of at the twilight of his career. See, what they do in Japan, it's a little different from here. Is here you'll have like your legends, and then they'll kind of be in the main event, and then they'll retire. And with Japan, a lot of times they'll stick around. They'll be in like tag teams and things like that. So Kojima was a big star for New Japan. He actually was in the original MLW in the United States. He's done All Japan 2, I believe. Part of one of the most successful tag teams in Japan, Tenkozi, which is him and Hiroshi Tenzan. And so he is a legend. And he is a guy who has put the work in, and it's a little disappointing because they were kind of teasing Tanahashi, who is the legend of legends. He's like Japan's John Cena.
It's coming, Brian. It's coming.
But Kojima, I know. I'm impatient. But no, Kojima is a guy who is he's on the back end of his career, but a guy who has really put the work in and can still go. He's still very good.
Fox said Brian is on Mike tonight.
Oh, and he's not wrong. Listen, as soon as you start talking, I like, this is why he's on my team. My guy. I love this guy. Brian is the fucking man.
Did you guys see online that they were not ripping it, but the fans were saying about this guy isn't at Moxley's level, that since no one's heard of him over here in America, that he's not a star. But like you said,
he would kill all those people. That's just
I popped for the Yuji Nagata.
Yeah. As a casual fan, like they probably heard of Tanahashi. They never heard of this guy, so everyone just assumed he was a nobody.
If you call him a casual fan, they probably have never heard of Tanahashi or Okada.
But everyone just assumed this was just some random guy they picked out of a hat, and they were like, "No, this is a legit guy." Like,
I assumed that was.
And AEW is going to do it right before this guy's package comes out. You'll see before they do the match, they'll do a highlight reel of Moxley, and they'll show a highlight reel of this guy, and they'll be like, "This guy's a fucking killer, and this is why it's going to be a great match, and it's going to go fucking nuts." They're going to do it perfectly right. But one last thing, what Ryan Vox said here: Tornado Tag was never ranked in the top 100 until Big Bry here came to the party. So I'm just saying, this guy's a monster. That's why he's part of the TTP, baby.
Well, Fox keeps it.
Keeps what?
He's not a belt. No.
I thought it was for the IWGP, whatever belt he had.
No,
They lost that to
took
Archer.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. He did lose that to Archer.
Yeah,
Come on, man, keep up. We're a wrestling podcast.
the U.S. champion is now Tanahashi. Archer dropped it to Tanahashi.
Oh, really?
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he was transitional.
Keep
And
up.
Moxley wants that belt back. Boy, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's
I
coming.
think Moxley. I think Moxley.
I think
will go
Moxley.
over. Yeah.
He's been on a bit of a losing streak. You can't have him losing all the time.
Oh yeah, there's no way that Kojima's winning that match.
Mhm.
No way.
Maybe we have a little Tanahashi run in or a lights out like an old school
That'd be
Japan
cool.
where the lights turn off and then the Titantron plays because it'd be a cool
Yeah.
way to like that's how New Japan does their surprise entrances where they're not even there where just the lights go off and the Titantron. Anything's possible tonight. There's a lot of cool things that can happen, and if AEW's in the business of surprising fans, this is another match to kind of put a little asterisk next to because
Yeah.
you never know.
How about next is Miro and Kingston, and that's for the TNT.
Did I just hear a groan? Did someone just grunt over there?
So,
Really?
I think Eddie takes it from him.
I like Eddie.
No.
Miro
No.
is-
No way.
This
Miro
guy,
is getting shot up.
No. I'm saying Miro's probably going to keep it, but I don't know. Since Miro came over, I'm just not digging it.
Oh, you're gonna like it. I bet you this is a stiff ass match.
They
Yeah.
are gonna beat the piss.
Yeah,
out of
this is gonna be fun to watch.
this is a shoot fight. This is
Yeah.
fun.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
this is
glad
gonna
he
be
got
good.
rid of the best man.
That's probably my second most looking forward to match.
Maybe we get Lana. Maybe Lana
Did
comes in
Lana
the
come out
ring.
with him? He's been mentioning her a lot lately.
Maybe she
Who
cost
is that?
Eddie the match, and that once again put a star by it. Will this be an entrant? Will this be
Yeah.
something new? Will we get the Lana screws over somebody and becomes part of this his new valet or manager? This
Yeah.
is, once again, man, this is exciting card. Exciting.
I have a
Ryan
feeling
Fox,
Eddie's
hire
gonna
the
be-
kid.
Ooh, I have a feeling. I have a feeling Eddie's going to be passing out in the camel clutch. I
Yes.
think that's how this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miro keeps it.
There's gonna be blood.
Oh, the TNT.
Yeah,
Is this like
yeah,
TNT?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
TNT.
for the TNT.
There's gonna be blood though. I think this is gonna be stiff. This is gonna be beating the
think
crap out
Eddie's
of each
gonna
other.
take it from him.
If there's blood, it's coming the hard way. They're not
Oh
blaming.
yeah. Oh yeah. So here we have Britt Baker and Statlander.
It's gonna be a great fucking match. It's gonna be
Yeah.
beautiful. It's gonna
I'm
be a
still pulling out
masterpiece.
for Statlander. So
I gotta go with Baker. She's from Pittsburgh.
it's a hope.
No,
that-
listen,
Statlander-
Statlander's amazing. She's the alien. She's everything you want to be in life. She's a stunt
She is,
actress
man.
turned professional wrestler.
Yeah,
She's amazing. But at the end of the day, boys, DMD and still.
it's gonna be a fun
Well,
match though.
and like I said on our previous episode, I think Britt keeps it, and I think Adam shows up to help her.
Another what- just
All
put
right,
one-
this one
one
I
by every
might not be
match.
on board with you. I don't think
Yeah, I
Adam
don't
Cole
think
comes
that's
out the
not-
same.
Yeah.
I think if we
I think
get
they
Adam
saved
Cole.
him.
Yeah,
I don't. I
yeah,
I
go,
think
sorry.
at that point you do run into too many people because
Yeah.
we're not talking. We haven't talked about somebody else is probably showing up on Sunday.
Yeah, but if he's coming, you can't bring anyone else the same night.
Yeah.
You gotta hold
You
off.
can, you
on
can do
that.
Ruby. You can debut Ruby, but
Yeah, but you can't do Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan the
I
same
mean,
night.
I feel
Yeah.
like you can do like a package though.
But you gotta wait.
At the end of the day, listen, women's wrestling has come a long way, but it has not come to the point where Adam Cole saves his girlfriend on
Yeah.
a pay-per-view as his
Yeah.
debut.
Hey,
I
it's
don't think
wrestling though.
I don't think AW is keen to do male on female violence either.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not.
Well,
This
no,
is- this is
I
wrong.
didn't. When I said about that, I said he doesn't even necessarily have to touch her. Like, just shows up like
To be a distraction.
hooded
Distraction.
figure and stuff, distracts her,
Yeah.
and then
And
reveals
Yeah,
that
but I
it's
don't
Adam Cole later. Or
Baker-
even just
Baker already has like 2 bodyguards with 2 girls. He
Yeah.
doesn't need
Yeah.
Adam Cole.
I feel like WWE would do that with Seth and Becky. I'm sure they've done it already, but
No,
I don't know, maybe keep them
no one's
two
doing
apart.
that. It's not. It's
And-
not happening, boy.
and more to that point, going back to WTV 100, the match there that Statlander was in, it was a mixed tag,
Mhm.
and it was Orange Cassidy and Statlander against Lee Moriarty and Trish Adora, and everybody in that match was an IWTV champion except Trish Adora, and
No, Trish Adora was.
she was never. She is the Pan African diaspora.
That's right. You're right.
champion.
You're right.
You're questioning him?
yeah,
I just I assumed he's right.
You would think he would know by now.
Yeah.
The big thing that kind of got a groan from the crowd is that match. They said it's mixed tag rules. The men wrestle the men, the women wrestle the women, and I'm like, oh, that's an AW call. Okay.
But real quick,
IWTV has had women as their champion. Chris Statlander was their champion.
yeah, I have a T-shirt where she won her championship that you can get from ProWrestlingTees.com with my good buddy and our good buddy Chris Bankos. You'll see all the time, which is hands down one of the best referees that's not signed to a major company yet. Him, Chris Levin, and Ref Gina and Adam Gall are just fucking fantastic. But
another guy who was very nice and kept me company during the Broadway main event of IWTV 100.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, Bankos.
Yeah, Bankos is dope.
He saw this hat and we started talking about the Sixers for a while.
Yeah, so Bankos is actually on the T-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees where he's raising Chris Statlander's hand out and her face is covered in blood and it says "Take me to your leader" in blood. It's a fucking dope shirt.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bought it is because I said, Chris Bankos, I want to support you. I want to buy your merchandise because he has a really cool Fallout logo. And he goes, don't buy my shirt. Buy the shirt off Chris Statlander where I'm on it. I'll be more honored. And I said, you got it, buddy. I get a Bankos and a Statlander shirt, the same deal. Sign me up.
I love Levin's shirt, the old Nickelodeon one. It says Kid Ref.
I own it. Yeah, I own it.
We're all saying Britt Baker wins.
No.
No, Justin said Chris.
DMD, baby.
Yeah.
DMD.
And we have Jericho and MJF, which we kind of all assume we know how this is going.
Yeah, I mean MJF wins.
I think
Jericho.
I think Jericho's winning.
Yeah,
really.
I say MJF goes over on this one.
I think so. I think Jericho goes away and then comes back.
Yeah,
or something.
I say MJF.
Yeah.
I do like Brian's point though. Let hear this out.
AEW seems to be in this mode still where they really want to live up to their stipulations. Like Cody hasn't challenged for the world title yet.
Yeah.
And if they're saying that if they're saying that Chris Jericho is going to not wrestle for them ever again if he loses this match, then I don't think they want to do that and have him wrestle again in 6 months unless you're going to do like some kind of Midnight Rider thing with him.
Yeah, well, and that's what I think. Like
Jericho, is he Black? No, he wasn't Black Tiger. Who's he? He had a mask in Japan, right?
Super Liger.
Super Liger, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe that's who comes back.
And I think Jericho wins, but then gets jumped or something, or he's so hurt that he's got to be out for a while. You know, and that gives him his time off to tour with Fozzy and stuff. You know,
and then we can see him on Thursday and cream our panties like girls.
Yeah, you guys.
I think AEW and Jericho both want to get MJF to that status of a top heel in the company.
Would it be weird if I wore an MJF shirt for the Fozzy concert?
Do it.
I mean, Jericho is so. When we saw Fozzy last time, Jericho went through the crowd and he's very interactive. So I mean, you might.
He doesn't care about COVID.
Oh, that's been established.
No,
that's been well established.
or his wife.
Yeah, no,
let's not talk about Jericho's wife.
I think they're trying to get MJF to that point where he's the heel in that company.
Mm-hmm.
So
isn't he already?
I just said that. Yeah, I think he is.
We're there. I don't think we're gutting there. We're there.
Well, Jericho's also knows, at this point in his career, putting over the young guys is his job.
Which he's already done twice, so that's what I'm saying. So, like, the third one, he'll probably win, but it'll
if
just
they didn't do the career on the line thing, I would say MJF wins. Because I was thinking they're going to do like, okay, it's going to be like Raven and Tommy Dreamer where you just can't beat MJF.
This is where if you're playing pro wrestling scorecards, this is what separates the men from the boys. Is this match right here?
The one time Tommy Dreamer did beat Raven was a loser leaves town match. So when it's on the line, that's when the babyface gets the win.
Interesting. I love where Brian's coming from, but I still think I don't trust it. I think pro wrestling.
Obviously, wrestling stipulations are made to be broken.
But I do like where you're coming from, where they honor it. I dig that.
I'm good either way because I like both guys, but I'll take MJF.
Yeah.
So Punk and Darby.
Punk's got to go over.
I don't know. There's no way Darby's winning.
No way.
It's going to be a hell of a match.
With Riot.
There is a story of when Ron Simmons was a WCW champion and he had a match with Cactus Jack. I think it was on a Clash of the Champions. And he was joking. Cactus Jack, McFoley was joking to Arn Anderson backstage, like, hey, maybe Ron will get hurt or something and I can win the title tonight. And Arn goes, Cactus, I don't care if that son of a bitch dies in a heart attack in the middle of the ring. You pick him up and put him on you. I don't care if CM Punk dies in the middle of that ring. Darby Allin picks him up and puts him on him.
Yes. Here's a question though. Does Punk win clean?
Yes, of course.
Or is there some fuckery to kind of make that heel turn happen?
He wins clean.
I think he wins clean.
It would be so much, but nobody thinks he's
even
gonna
though
turn
he's even though he turns heel, obviously he's going to get cheered, but it sets the character in
He's not
motion of
turning
him being a
heel.
bad guy.
It would be
They're
good.
not going to boo him. They're
would be
not. They're
really
not
good.
going to boo.
They don't boo MJF. They laugh and they cheer
yeah,
him. So
anyway.
He's still the bad guy.
Yeah,
They were still singing Jericho's song when he was a heel.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Here's my only request for wrestling fans is we need to buy into it more. Listen, even when Jericho was a heel, you're right. Everyone's still singing his song. Everyone's still into it. They're cheered. It's Jericho. He could have murdered a baby in the middle of the ring and we'd still cheer him. He's Chris Jericho.
He's earned that. Yeah.
He could not believe in the pandemic.
Yeah, Chris Jericho is probably about the furthest away from political lines that I could possibly imagine. But I put that aside and I cheer him because he's Chris Jericho. But this was where I think a CM Punk would be a great villain to the character, the thing. He's still going to get cheered, but this is what wrestling fans, when they go to shows, even though it's their buddy in the ring or someone they care about, drop it and play into the crowd because it makes the shows that much better. We did it at Sanctuary. There was a tag team wrestling, a babyface tag team, young guys wrestling an older crowd, and everybody in the crowd just went over the moon excited for that babyface, and it gave the energy of what the wrestling show needed. You're not putting down your smart mark flag for 5 minutes or for an hour that you're at a venue to play into what the booker's trying to do. If they're bad, boo them as if they're bad. Let's play into the theater anymore. You know what I mean?
But CM Punk is still very much.
Yeah, well, have fun with it. That's what I do.
Remember, I ever told you guys that he was mad at Elias because Elias was a heel and the crowd chanting "Walk with Elias" and Vince was having a thing. You know, they're not supposed to be cheering you. You're a villain.
I still think I like the Punk turning heel.
I like Punk
to see it.
face or heel, but Punk as a heel is just gold.
He is gold. That's true.
Yeah,
but he needs to be a heel that's not, because he's known for being the anti-establishment heel. He doesn't have to come in and be like AEW. He just got to be a heel.
He's got to be a babyface until the time's right. The time to turn him heel might be when Hangman finally beats Omega and wins the title. Maybe Punk turns on him.
I'm cool with that.
Then you have your heel Punk.
Or he brings out the new guy everyone wants in the company, and they're best buddies because they came from WWE, they came from ROH, and then he fucking boomed to the bean pot, and that's it.
I was going to throw that in before we got to the main event. Is that so? What's his name in AEW? Cien almost like what? Andrade. Okay, so they can't have their match because Pac, right? But Cien's still good.
Yeah. Pac is stuck in England, I believe.
Yeah. So what if he comes out and they do have, he calls somebody out, or he's at least cutting a promo, and then out comes Punk's buddy. He's up, right? Eligible?
Who? We're talking about Danielson, right?
Bryan, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's clear. His contract expired.
Okay.
That dropped like last week. I think it was.
And the music that everybody wants to hear.
Final countdown.
Final countdown.
Hell yeah.
So here's my theory. I don't think we get Daniel Bryan.
Doing streamers.
I think if Andrade can't go, he can't. If the Andrade match can't happen, you don't force it, right? So I don't think Daniel Bryan's return is thrown in because Pac can't make it. So that's just my theory. But if you want to jump ahead to the main event, I think what happens here is obviously Kenny wins, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then he's saying, "I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the world." And then we lead up to New York with Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega.
I don't think they're going to do that match. That's a pay-per-view match. I don't think I don't think they're going to have Danielson wrestle. I think it's an appearance. One of the things they said with this deal with Danielson is he got similar money to WWE, fewer dates, and he can work Japan. And you don't burn one of those dates on an unadvertised appearance.
Yeah.
Just that match, thinking about that match, Bryan and Kenny, that's just, oh, man.
Well, and
we'll finally get his first 5-star rating from Meltzer.
Yeah.
Finally.
If Punk, Bryan, and Adam Cole have a 3-way, that's it. Like, I could die a happy man.
Yeah, I mean, even Punk, Bryan, and Kenny, or
we saw the old ROH of when Omega was still super curly haired and young, with what was it, Omega, Bryan, and
Tyler
Rollins. Yeah.
Well, I think for the Punk Darby match, the way I think it would end is Darby goes up for the coffin drop. When he drops, Punk knees to the back and the kind of vice makes him tap.
No, he's
He has to do
GTS.
GTS.
Yeah,
He's got
he's
to do
GTS.
Darby
pop
Allin is a
move.
guy I would never have tap because his whole thing is he loves to be. He's sick. He loves pain.
Yeah.
He's not the same size as
Yeah.
Cactus Jack, but he's Cactus
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, yeah, but that's
You break
what I'm
Darby's
saying.
arm
Like
off.
something like, you know,
Yeah,
because
no,
he
he's-
hasn't.
It seems like they're using Go to Sleep as Punk's finish, not
Yeah,
the
they've got to because the moment that you go up on those shoulders, so many. I mean, it's gonna pop.
It's a pop.
Yeah.
One
Right,
thing
yeah.
AEW does have to do though is you have to get those metal boards for the front row, so we can do the
Oh.
"You're gonna get your fucking head kicked in" chant
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I
I would think he was going to do the GTS. I just think like to kind of distinguish it a little bit from his last time in WWE, you know, like something a little different. Because he hadn't done it in so long.
I'm actually kind of happy of how Punk came in. You know, he came in. Obviously, fans have been wanting this, and he's embracing it, and he's enjoying wrestling again. I don't know if that heel turn is going to be coming this soon.
No, not at all.
No.
It's unexpected.
Yeah, that's AEW is all about
Well,
surprises.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
not
thinking
expected
about-
because it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking about this. So, you know, you brought in Punk. Punk's obviously a face. You know, like you were saying about, you know, Kenny retains the title. I'm the best in the world. Punk challenges him.
Off of one win, their whole thing is supposed to be building. You know, Christian
Yeah, no.
didn't get a title shot right away.
I'm not saying, but, you know, like he comes out every week and says, I'm the best in the world. That gives Punk, you know, a chance to get a couple more matches under his thing. Then he challenges Kenny.
yeah.
Takes the belt from Kenny, and you have Hangman.
So they
Becoming-
No, Hangman has to take the belt off
Yeah.
Kenny.
they've been building.
That's Hangman's story.
This
Hangman
feud-
has to take the belt off Kenny.
This feud has been going on for over a year. Hangman and
Yeah.
Kenny. So I feel like it has to be Hangman.
It does. It
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
belt's not
that too,
coming off him.
but, you know,
It's the only way. That's his story right now. That is the only story Paige really has, and it's a great one. And it's been such a
And
build.
Like Justin and I have said a million times over, Hangman is Sting.
Yeah,
It's all about the chase.
but also like he's
I don't like that analogy at all. I'm sorry.
He's
I'm
that
not a
other
Sting
guy in
guy.
the elite. Everybody knew Young Bucks. Everybody knows Omega.
well,
Everybody knew
that's what
Kota.
I thought.
So like he's that guy that had to prove himself, and now that's his story. That he came all the way up, and now he's where he needs to be.
Well, that's what I was
Himself.
thinking. Like for Hangman, like he rejoins the elite by becoming heel and taking the belt off.
Is that like
Hangman's got to be a babyface.
goes to leave the ring? You know, Punk turned his back. You know, when he turns back around,
No, you can't turn Hangman heel.
Hell
Fans
no.
are behind him. Man.
Hell no.
You forgot a match
No.
about Bucks and Lucha Bros in the
Yes.
steel cage.
That's not on the.
And they've only wrestled like
That's not on the
1,000
card.
times. Oh, that's a match, right?
Yeah. Bucks and Lucha
Yeah.
Brothers in a cage match.
Bucks and Lucha Bros are in the steel cage.
I think Lucha Bros.
Oh, it was after. Sorry, it was after.
I think
Lucha
Bucks
Bros
keep
get
it.
the
I think Bucks keep
I
it.
would like Lucha Bros too. I'm a big fan of both theirs. I think Ray Phoenix is probably the like my favorite
see,
wrestler
so
to
then-
watch ever.
Yeah, I mean,
They've wrestled so many times.
yeah.
So, who cares though? I mean,
Well,
It's- it's
Lucha
good
Bros can
everywhere.
now be a tag team again because now that Pentagon's back in the States,
Yeah.
because that's the whole reason it was held off. Because
yeah.
there was some times where you seen Pentagon on TV and it wasn't Pentagon.
Oh really?
It was somebody was like wearing Pentagon's gear
Yeah.
with his face painted because Pentagon couldn't like when that towards the end there when Pentagon got hurt and beat up, that
Mhm.
wasn't Pentagon.
Wow.
I
I know Ray was with Pac in that
The
Death
Death
Triangle. I
Triangle,
didn't
yeah.
see the other guy. Yeah.
So what do you think about that FTR thing that they tweeted or whatever, where
What about it? I don't know what you're talking
good
about.
guys out or something like that, or bad guys out, whatever they said. I don't know. People were
One of them got
speculating
hurt,
it.
didn't he? When they cut his leg.
no, it was his arm.
He hurt his arm, but he's okay. I
Yeah.
think they're just toying with the
Trolling.
internet. That, I,
Yeah,
I don't see
probably.
them leaving
That's what
anytime
it
soon.
sounds
I
like,
think
yeah.
I think they tore the internet. And you may see a maybe you see them with it. This is where the forbidden door could open and help somebody else for a short time, but still get some AEW money. And maybe an FTR shows up with Tully on NWA, or you see them show
Oh,
up
yeah.
somewhere else and maybe make a maybe go back to that. We're the best tag team in the world. And they went and they're belt collecting other places. The thing with AEW is you don't need your guy there all the time. People will say, "Oh, they signed Miro when he hasn't done anything yet." Give it time. There's a lot of storylines that were going before Miro joined the party.
Just because somebody gets signed does not mean they have to be thrown right away into something. They can
absolutely,
just
yeah.
Also, that roster is so deep.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
And we have Rampage, we have the new show coming, we have Dark, we have all these different spots where you're going to see
Dark.
And the best way to make those other shows relevant is give them good storylines to follow through on. So maybe some of those stories get pushed to a different show.
And as far as this cage match, I think the Bucks retain because I think I mentioned it.
I think so too, but I'd like to see Lucha Bros. But
I
that's
think
just because I
Lucha
like
Bros
them.
take it.
But I think young Bucks.
It feels like your next tag champs are going to be Santana and Ortiz.
Oh yeah.
Really? I thought Jurassic Express, because they're so over. They're real popular.
I'm waiting for them to break up. I
really think Jungle Boy is going to become a single star.
Yeah.
Jurassic Express is over, but Jungle Boy.
Oh, he's super over. I mean, good-looking young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And to what you were just saying too, like bringing a guy in, CM Punk and Darby Allin. CM Punk ain't going right after the champ. He's starting with Darby Allin. You know what I mean? But not knocking Darby Allin.
Darby gets the rub of working with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's his, yeah.
I think that was a rumor before Punk even debuted, to be honest. Like, people were talking about Darby and Punk together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's straight edge. The whole thing. Right. But as far as Jungle Boy, I think that would be a great first feud for Adam Cole.
Yeah. Very much.
So let's say Daniel Bryan debuts tonight, right? Where do you think it goes?
Tonight?
Or All Out, whatever.
Oh. I was gonna say I thought you meant on Rampage.
Where do you think his first feud, is?
Well, like you said, he might not be coming in for wrestling.
What about everyone saying Daniel Bryan? What about Braun Strowman or Bray Wyatt?
Well, the rumor is
I'm just saying. I mean,
Braun Strowman and
are they coming?
Buddy Murphy are supposed to be going.
Yeah, Buddy Murphy.
Impact. It looks like.
Yeah,
it looks like they're going to be Impact.
Braun Strowman has changed his views on professional wrestling vastly in the past couple of months because he first said all these indie guys got to stop crying and doing all this, and then he goes, "I'll only work one place, and that's WWE," and that phone hasn't rang yet. Now he's like, "I'll do a cinematic with EC3," and now it's, "I'm going to Impact."
Yeah, that's it. I saw that too, where he said he wouldn't go anywhere but WWE.
The longer you sit at home, you're like, you know what?
So Buddy Murphy, his vignettes have been similar to Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't see that thing I sent you guys about him and the outside of the insane asylum?
So that
was good along with Aleister.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, so I think the main thing is those two are gonna.
Sure, then they still can.
I think they're friends in real life.
Well, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
but
Buddy Murphy can still sign an Impact and still show up at AEW. That's the beauty of this
because of that working relationship.
Yeah, I love that Aleister carried that eye thing in. By the way, that was great on his part.
This is where, as wrestling fans, we're getting rewired. Like we're getting rewired to think how things go because it's like, oh man, there's a free agent. Where can he go? He can go to almost anywhere except WWE and right now as of Ring of Honor, and go work at any of those companies and still be involved somewhat on
Ring of Honor and Japan work together.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Ring of Honor will open that door soon. But I the thing is like this is the opportunity where people can cross contaminate and go to other places. We've seen it with Kenny go to Impact. So if Kenny as a champion is going to go to Impact,
he went to AAA too, right?
Yeah, and AAA, like the door is wide, and the door's wide open. It's open more than even you think it's open because the independents are in that, the AAA is in that,
And as far as Danielson, there's somebody that's going to be coming over to the States very, very soon. That is, I'm going to guess high on Danielson's bucket list of guys he wants to wrestle, and maybe it happens in AEW, and that's Minoru Suzuki.
Oh,
Murder Grandpa.
Back to what Anthony was saying, like, because that door is open, before the forbidden door was open, it was like, oh, these are probably going to AEW. It was just, but now it's like, you really have to think
You don't have to think. You can just watch and enjoy, though.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many options.
You don't think at all. That's what I love about wrestling. That's the start of me. I don't have to think. You said earlier, how can I watch a 4-hour wrestling show, but I can't watch a 2-hour movie because I don't have to think. Each story, if told right, is its own movie, and they're only this long versus this long. So you don't have to think. Just watch it and enjoy it.
And you were asking about Malachi.
He's
Dynamite next week. He's taking on Lee Johnson,
but he's
so
not working.
He's not on the pay-per-view now.
So I think he's going to be working the whole Nightmare Family.
Oh, okay.
It seems that's the way it's going so far.
Well, yeah, because somebody's going to come in and be the hero in a few months.
Yeah.
Insert Cody.
Maybe this time he'll have like super white hair instead of black hair, just dyed black.
Now this is just a stupid Facebook post with zero validity, but it says Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, Ruby Soho, and the Iconics are all likely to debut at All Out.
Yeah,
I just
that's just somebody going. Well, if I say a bunch of names, I'll probably.
Yeah, if I make a graphic, it looks legit. People
I think Inspiration is going to show up on Impact for sure.
Inspiration. Okay.
Iconics.
Or it could be they could be going to AEW because they've been trying to
hey guys, we have a breaking news.
Uh-oh.
There's a new champion. After Balor defeated Roman Reigns, Big E cashed in and won the title. That can't be real. It's only 8:00, right?
Yeah.
It's 12 after 8. That can't be real.
That didn't happen the first 10 minutes of SmackDown.
All right, never mind. Yeah. I looked at minutes and I'm like, that can't be right.
Somebody look that up if that's legit.
I don't think
it's 100% not legit. Let's just pretend I never said that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That would be cool though.
I mean,
I like Finn and I like Big E.
Oh, I fucking started reading it and I realized that I'm kind. All right.
I get like that too.
I'm drunk and high right now, so
I get like that.
Damn clickbait.
I mean, but it's something that got you excited, And it's like we all want Big E as champion.
Dude, I was like, breaking news, and then I read, I was like, this is fake.
Sorry.
Let's keep that for a while till The Rock. I'm telling you guys.
But then,
and like Joe said, let him take the Punk's record. So
Roman does not need the title to face The Rock at WrestleMania.
No, not at all. But I booked that, back in 2015.
Rumble,
yeah, he should have.
Your big story of Mania, it has to be Big E. It wins the world champion, and the guy that Big E has to beat has to be Brock Lesnar to get the retribution on squashing Kofi.
Wow. Yeah.
Or you send him the Raw and he cashes it on Lashley. You could do that too.
Yeah.
Justin here has been saying for a while that he thinks Big E should have turned heel a while ago, like a monster heel.
I said that
like
too.
Broke up New Day and just.
Well, I don't think a while ago. No.
I don't think Kofi won the belt that he could have taken on.
I think he could have.
Yeah, we both had said that. Like I thought, like Kofi beats Lashley, and then Big E comes out and turns on him, and
Here's my only argument with that.
Such a natural baby face to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And my big problem with that is I'm not trying to come off as this big woke guy or anything like that, but every time we see a predominantly black superstar in WWE, they're always fucking heels. There's and the only team that really has broken that mold and being the super baby face African American team has been the New Day, and everyone just wants them to become bad guys, and they don't have to be. It's good to see, every single time a young representation is everything in professional wrestling and in pop culture. And every time they see a black hero, they're always evil villains. It's good for people to young people of color to see Bianca Belair be a face, to see the Street Profits, to see the New Day, to be these overt baby faces like a John Cena, and Big E could be your next John Cena if you push him to the moon in the right way.
Oh yeah. It was more of like to change it up because been the baby face for so long, much like with Cena, people are getting tired of the same shtick, I
don't think people are like that with me either. When the New Day first started as heels, I kind of felt bad about it I kind of didn't like it because I saw Kofi as the new, there's always been certain guys that just never were heels. Tito Santana was never a heel. Steamboat was never a heel. And Kofi was that guy, and then he turned heel, but it was fine. And it worked out.
He didn't really turn heel, though. It's very, very minimal.
We say all the time, every time there's 3 or 4 African Americans, they're always put together in a group,
thrown together,
and they're always like thugs, or you know what I mean. It's always a gang. Other than New Day, But it's always like
Yeah.
the nation. It's always like
But even
like
when New
Hurt
Day
Business.
started,
They always put all the guys together in Hurt Business. And
even when New Day started, what was everybody on the internet calling them? The new nation of dominations.
Yeah. And the New Day is beautiful, man, because it's talking about positivity. It's talking about loving your brothers. It's talking about being fun and not being taken serious. Like, don't be. It's not all about being a toxic male where you're this big. I mean, they are the exact opposite, and everything more people need to embrace in their life more.
And like most great things in professional wrestling, it's real. Like they're really friends.
Yeah.
They're really like that.
Oh yeah.
But by the way, just to kind of confirm everything, like that did not happen on SmackDown. The only
I looked to check. I didn't see anything else.
Right now, the only thing going on is the Usos against the Street Profits.
Oh, do you have it on? Or you just
I put it on in the background. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck whoever did that.
Yeah, well, they got it.
Yeah,
They got
got high Tony to believe it for 3 seconds.
But it's so great to be a wrestling fan right now.
Oh, yeah,
we're
very
all
much.
excited for All Out.
There's something for everybody. If you don't like it, just watch something else.
And I mean, we've all talked before about, WWE is just not our thing. So we turn to AEW. It's more exciting for us. You don't have to bash WWE.
I still like WWE. I don't like everything they do, but there's some stuff that they do that's
I think
fairly
I'm
entertaining.
a WWE fan because I've been watching it since I'm 5.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm just loyal. It's not if I started watching wrestling right now, I'd probably be an AEW fan.
Yeah.
But I've been watching WWE for so long, it's like in my blood. You know what I mean? I just have to watch it.
Yeah. But
I still think it sucks, but I watch it.
AEW. Go ahead.
We had a wrestler from Camp Leapfrog on our show on a while back, Dr. Ethan Wild, and Ethan had mentioned something. I'm paraphrasing. Where he
don't
said,
misquote him, please, God.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
paraphrasing.
Jesus Christ.
And he said, Ethan said something to the effect of, life is too short and there are too many options to spend time watching wrestling you don't like.
Yeah.
And, Justin said before, there's times where he'll go to like a local wrestling show and just be a fan for once instead of judging it for what it is.
Yeah, just have fun. Wrestling's fun. It's supposed to be fun. Enjoy it.
Obviously, when we're all together watching pay-per-views, I mean, that was all right. But it's about being around each other, hanging out, having fun, watching it.
Everything I say is usually a bit. It's usually actually the complete opposite of what I think. I just say things to be fun.
I love when we all hang out and watch it, but I'm a good deal. I forget that my 10-year-old son is there, and he still watches wrestling.
It's still real to him.
And that innocence.
Yeah,
the heels are heels.
I realize that sometimes too.
And the faces are faces. Like he used to love Roman Reigns. Now he doesn't like Roman anymore.
Yeah.
He was like, Daddy, why is he being
heel.
such a jerk? Like, and I sometimes forget to look at it through his eyes.
Yeah.
And then we'll be talking about, we think this is going to happen, and that guy's going to do this. And I'm like, I
he doesn't listen to us. He is so tunnel vision that he has no idea what we're saying.
But I don't want to ruin it for him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Daniel Bryan shows up, I want him to be like, oh my God, it's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And not be like, oh, my dad's been telling me he's been coming for a month. Like,
Yeah.
I forget about that,
Like with Legends of Hamburger and all that, like just going in, like standing in line too, like shooting the shit with random people.
I don't want that. I still want to watch as a fan, but I'm joking. I don't want to stand in lines.
Yeah. It's true.
At the convention, we just kept looking out, and that line was just crazy long.
Yeah.
Dude,
I can't wait for
we show up at the convention, and the first 3 minutes we were there, fucking Jimmy Hart came up and talked to us, and he walked away. And I looked at Brian and go, what the fuck are we doing here?
That's how I felt.
I have severe imposter syndrome. I still get it. Like we go to these events or like an Outbreak or a PPW or a Sanctuary, and we're doing this cool shit, and it's like, what am I doing here? Like
Someone's gonna realize that I don't belong here,
dude. I've been faking it for 3 years.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hell yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah,
I can't play bass guitar for shit, but like.
You stayed out of
still
the
do
hotel.
it. Yeah.
You play punk
I
music,
just
so you
make-
don't really have to be great at it.
I don't even like punk music. I actually like country. I like line dancing country. I just put on a front.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's your whole image. You got a whole
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
It's working the gimmick.
but
Yeah, I'm actually a huge Dallas Cowboy and Philadelphia Eagles fan.
You can't be both.
Legends of
You're a Jets
Hamburg
fan.
was great. I mean, we still can't stop talking about
I never
the
used to be a Jets
excitement and like all the fans that came out. It was just being in the presence of all those legends.
It's just fun, like, you know, when you go to stuff like that too. And sometimes some of the dumb shit people say, like, you know, and like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, you know, some people take rumors like it's the gospel.
It's whatever.
It was great timing.
If it made you buy a ticket, though, then I guess the rumor worked.
It was great timing because for so long, wrestling fans have been craving to go to live events. And, you know, this big convention happened in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. I mean, we always talk about conventions, and it's like, okay, I'd see this guy or maybe this guy, but it was a stacked lineup, and it got fans excited. And
Unless you're famous, unless you're rich, you couldn't physically afford to do everybody. That's how much selection and options were there.
Yeah,
and that's what the prices for the photo ops are very reasonable at that.
Yeah, they weren't bad. Yeah, but there was just so many people that had to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's just I can't wait for the next one. And Outbreak, as always, puts on great shows.
Oh yeah,
So,
September 18th.
Yeah, Outbreak did. Here's the only thing I have. Vox and I know the other guys are listening. Dude, I can't tell what's a live stream thing or who's actually coming to shows, because it's like the Legend Hamburg Fieldhouse is going to have Marlena, and I thought she was showing up at the next show, and then I don't know what's going on with that.
Wow.
Yeah, I seen a post on Facebook. I was like, Marlena, that's on my list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have been. I wasn't there for the convention because I had to work. But from what I understand, like none of the guys.
You fucked up.
They were super nice to my son. A lot of them would just take pictures with him for free.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't ask. I mean, I expected to pay, but they'd be like, "Oh, come on," and it was very cool.
It was just about having fun, enjoying wrestling, you know. And kudos to whoever. Latcha said she's gonna be with them in Connecticut.
Oh, that sucks. Ryan, just take a photo. Like, just have her give me a thumbs up and just send me a photo. That's all I need.
But
she's the first human being I've seen in my life, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely into girls. That's
kudos to Ryan and Antonio for putting on such a great night of wrestling.
Mine was Miss Elizabeth for me.
Yep.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Dude, I seen a girl with big boobs and a gold dress, smoking a cigar and drinking a whiskey, and I was like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
You don't remember her as a dork with a laptop in WCW?
Yeah,
that would have pretty awesome.
Harry Taylor and Ricky Morton.
Terrence Taylor,
Richard Morton, and Thomas Rich.
And didn't she have Michael Wall Street too? IRS, I guess.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't remember
the
that.
York Foundation, wasn't it? Yeah.
So September 18th, Outbreak Wrestling is returning to Hamburg, PA, at the Hamburg Fieldhouse. We're gonna be there. I'm sure you guys
Josie, and Earl Hebner.
Yeah, we're bringing in Earl Hebner. That's great. He's gonna be reffing the main event. Ian Bush, and Andy Header. Yeah, that's gonna be a great.
And new.
Listen.
No, babyface all the way.
And new. See this table? This table looks real good with an Outbreak Championship on it every Thursday. I'm just saying.
There's going to be naked.
There's going to be a guy in the ring that has some questionable morals as the referee.
Hell yeah!
We've already said our good friend Ulysses S. Grant is running Hebner if he does the right thing.
We've already sent one goon to Ian's house. We'll send more.
There may be somebody working a camera at ringside who might notice that Ian's it's like, oh, you're tripping, you just bump into Ian and grab his foot and
fireball
down. Yeah.
I think of that show and I just can't help. I'm not excited to see Yams.
You like to buy cameras, Tony. You don't remember this, but in 1993, there was a camera that shot a fireball in the Hulk Hogan's face.
That's what we're working on.
If you can get that before the 18th, I will load.
I've already ordered it. That's the one you're holding. Like, why is it bazooka? It's a 13K camera.
Why does that guy have a butane pack on his?
But I mean, Duke, the Dumpster Joe is going to be there. That's great. Again, Outbreak with surprises, just bringing him in, and You know, it's going to be another great show. I can't wait.
I've already been at a Hamburg show where an unannounced Sandman showed up.
Yeah.
So just you never. I've also been at a show.
Didn't know he was going to come. He just showed up. He was driving by.
I've already seen an Outbreak show where RoboCop has shown up unannounced. So you never know what you're going to get at an Outbreak show. So the best way to experience it is obviously tuning in live and coming in and checking it out and buying a ticket.
Yeah, I can't wait. Outbreak never disappoints. September 18th, Hamburg, Pennsylvania, at the legendary Hamburg Fieldhouse.
We want to thank you guys for joining us today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, very cool, man.
You guys are great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed
Great
meeting you
time.
guys for the first time at the convention. I'm so glad we finally got the chance to do this together.
Again, thank you for letting us become part of your network.
Yeah, IWEP Network. We are joining the network. That's huge for everybody involved. We appreciate that. You guys do a lot for the podcast business, and we're so glad to be a part of it. And of course, thanks to our sponsor, Rise Up Nutrition, Penn Avenue, West Reading.
Boosted Teas kept us going through that.
Yeah, it was really good. It's my first time ever having anything from
Jolly
them.
Rancher Apple.
Yeah.
Boosted Tea. It was great. So if you're in our area, stop by.
Full of vitamins now.
And honestly, it works better than Bang and Monster. And that's not even a joke. Like, for me, I feel better because it's not filled with a bunch of bad shit. So if you're in our area, just stop by. They're great people. We can't thank you guys enough for being on our show. We got a great weekend of wrestling ahead of us, so let's enjoy it. And after this, it's on to Outbreak, September 18th.
Well, and September 11th is PPW, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, some of the names announced there: Mercedes Martinez, Rachel Ellerling, Casey Lennox, Bobby Fish, Moose, Juventud Guerrero, Chris Van Fleet, Ace Austin, Enzo, Buddy Matthews, Cass XL, Noah Kikoa, and also your boy here, Anthony Blackwell on commentary.
And the very next day, it's a little bit of a drive, but if you have IWTV, which everybody should have, independentwrestling.tv, they're going to have a double header. Anthony and I will be there working the shows. They're going to be doing Camp Leapfrog's Trail Mixer, which is another way of saying a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have that. They're going to have some big matches there. If you're a fan of PPW, Main Event will be there. I believe. I don't know if he's in the Rumble or not, or the Trail Mix or not, but who's the guy that's wrestling? Kevin Mears, I forget. Grey Wolf, is that the one?
Grey Wolf.
Yeah, Grey. I believe he'll be there. He's at most Camp Leapfrog shows. And then we have Combat Fights Unlimited afterward. If you're familiar with Bloodsport.
Oh, okay.
This is basically women's blood sport in a cage.
It's awesome.
So you're gonna have some Masha Slamovich is gonna be there. You're gonna have Masha will also be in on Leapfrog. They're gonna do Masha Slamovich, Edith Surreal, who was formerly Still Life, with Apricots and Pears, and Blank in a three-way.
Mm-hmm.
But on the Combat Fights Limited show, you're gonna have them. Adina Steele, who was a local wrestler. I think she's done Outbreak during the quarantine series.
Yep.
Christina Marie, who's
Christina Marie. Edith will also be on the Fights
Yes.
Unlimited, as well as Janai Kai, as
Lady
well
Frost.
as Lady Frost,
Kaya
as
McKenna,
well-
we mentioned earlier.
Kaya McKenna, Bonesaw Brooks. It's gonna be a good show.
It's independentwrestling.tv. Next weekend, if you want to check it out, it starts. The Leapfrog show is at 1. Should be done by around 3-ish. And then 5 o'clock is Combat Fights Unlimited. I know before, and I think you can still do it, if you want to sign up on independentwrestling.tv and try a free trial next weekend, I believe you can use promo code LEAPFROG to do that. There it is.
There it is.
There
Yeah,
it is.
and here's the thing.
Shout out to our guy, Jerry.
And this isn't just a shameless plug here, but IWTV is such a great service, honestly. If you can't make it to a show, they do live events. If you can't make it to Boston, but you fell in love with Beyond or Pizza Party or Camp Leapfrog or all these amazing promotions, No Peace Underground, which is like if you're into death fights and death matches, No Peace
H2O,
Underground
too.
is unbelievable with people like Effie and Poirot there. IWTV is just loaded. For $10 a month, you can see so many good independent wrestling things and people who will 100% be on TV very, very soon, like your Wheelie Yutas and people like Statlander are on there. It's honestly one of the best bangs for your buck is IWTV.
Ryan Vox just mentioned he get to see the Carino battle. That was
Oh yeah.
It was the Colby Carino, I think 25th anniversary show,
Something like that.
Something like
The
that.
the Super 8 is on
It was,
the women's and men's Super 8. Then they have great shows where they have documentaries following Edith Surreal, a very good professional wrestler, Lee Moriarty, following him around getting documentaries of inside information.
There are 2 old Outbreak shows.
You can watch Andy Header win the first Outbreak Championship in a ladder match in Hamburg Fieldhouse on IWTV. You might be able to see the last show coming up soon on IWTV. We're working that out. Also, the Masked Wrestler, which is like a really cool show.
It's like the Masked Singer, but with wrestling and the losers on.
Oh, okay.
It's a great network.
There's a guy on there, Stokely Hathaway Jr. was his name, and it wound up being spoiler Tony Deppen. And then also they are doing a thing coming up called Untitled, where it's going to be like all these promotions like Leapfrog, H2O, Pro Wrestling Magic, a lot of companies that are regulars on IWTV. They're all going to send a match, and it's going to be a big super card at H2O in October. They've already announced the main event. Wheeler Yuta is the IWTV World Champion. It's now a world title, officially recognized by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He's defending against Alex Shelley.
Holy shit.
Oh, nice.
Hope we can get a spot in that H2O center that day.
It's a Friday. That's the like tricky thing I work on.
But seriously, you guys have done so much. I mean, even just for wrestling in general, commentary, production, you did some music, and just you guys are amazing. Thank you for everything that you do for the wrestling business and the podcast business. You guys are great inside and outside of podcasting, and this is an honor for us.
Once I'm off the mic, I'm a jerk.
That's okay, so is he.
Yeah.
But seriously, thank you. This was a blast. I knew this would be a fun one to do. So thank you for your time.
It's cool hanging out with you guys, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're no Chris Van Fleets yet, but we're coming, baby.
Yeah.
Coming to the top.
We'll say we knew you when.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, you're part of the network. You're coming with me.
Yeah.
There's no barbershop window at the venue the PPW runs. Maybe Chris Van Vliet's going to go through a Zuma room door.
Yeah. Either he joins us or he dies. No, I'm joking. But no, my goal is to be like, I always joke around saying I want to be the Adam Sandler of the podcast game, and I want to make it, and I want to bring everybody with me. And you guys are all part of the cast of Podcaster Grown Ups 3 or whatever the show. You know what I mean?
We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you again at Outbreak September 18th. It's going to be a blast. So
yeah,
I look forward to the messages that are being in the group chat on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Sometimes get a little crazy. Just I try to keep it professional. I have probably like 15 of those chats going on there. A little out of control.
All day long that thing just
the pay-per-view.
What's that, Brian?
Yeah. I promise half that group chat's going to be at Tony's house during the pay-per-view.
Yeah. But this was fun. So we look forward to seeing you guys at Outbreak. We look forward to seeing everybody at Outbreak.
Thank you to those who joined the chat with us.
Yeah. Thanks for
It's great, and whoever else joined there.
And if it's your first time listening, please, if you can, check us out on all social media, the Tornado Tag Podcast, IWEB Network, where you'll see we like wrestling on there. Also, support us, help us out. Like I said, all the money I have made has gone into production to help make wrestling shows look and sound and can be presented to people better. And in a typical Outbreak fashion, they were the first ones to really welcome me in as a part of doing this, as well as they've welcomed me in the first time to really doing our own production side of things. So
we got to do such a fun interview with Ed House at Outbreak, didn't we?
Yeah, Ed House.
Pre-pandemic, we got to do some fun stuff with Ed House.
So we look to keep growing with you guys, as well as Outbreak and all these great promotions. And if you want to check us out, we are always live Thursdays at 8:00. Next week is, spoiler alert, is a pre-recorded show where we'll be talking about all these shows we talked about here today in greater detail. But if you see us, if you could support us, t-shirts, hats, fanny packs, stickers, a hug, a high five, a share, anything to help get the word out about our show, this show.
With cash.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and we love you guys, and welcome to the network, and we're excited to grow.
Yeah, we're excited to work with you guys.
This is great. Again, thank you to everybody who tuned in. And we go not live, but we record every Friday. And obviously, with you guys being special guests, we had to do a live episode. So we're Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah,
we
wherever
do YouTube.
podcasts. Yeah.
Look for us Friday night, Saturday morning. So thank you guys again for allowing us to be on your network. I can't wait to see what the future holds. So
Yeah, we'll help you get through. Maybe give you some pointers that we went through and some of the obstacles we went over, so you don't have to go over them as well. And
Yeah,
get you on a better, get you on a good path here.
all right.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Like a big brother looking out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tune in to Tornado Tag Thursday night.
I
We'll
was
see you
listening
next
last
time.
night while I was grilling.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see everybody next time.